It says in the Shir Shirim, Dodi shalach yodom and achor. Dodi shalach yodom and achor. My beloved stretched his hand through the hole, through the opening. So, you know that I grew up in a home where I entered into the world where there was a very big hole. From those years of the war. And I saw that my parents somehow were able to move on. Only when I was older, I began to understand the depths of their suffering. I still don't understand, but what they went through. I mentioned to the Chavra last year that, it wasn't even a year ago, that my mother just started saying to me that, asking me why they're taking my mother away. Why is he taking my mother? I said, Ma, no one's taking your mother, no one. You're in Farakwe, you're here, you're with us. So I said, no one's done, he's taking. And she said that Mengele is taking her mother away. And she's still alive before her eyes. She still sees that. You never get past. So, when there's a hole in the heart of a person, when there's a hole in the heart of a people, there's our entire people, there's a big hole. Ever since Shmini Atzeres and Torah, there's a big, big hole in the heart of Am Yisrael. But something is happening, and that's what Jen was talking about before, that something is happening, something miraculous, that yes, Ad Matai, Ad Mosai, how much longer? And then Shalshudas, we were learning about the piece from the Pizetzna, and Chayesar, the Saramenu protested by dying. The Saramenu was strong enough to take this, the Rebbe said. The Saramenu said, I know that my son almost died. But I don't want mothers to have to live through even that, through waiting to hear whether their sons are still alive and they're not alive. I don't want an almost died. I don't want a died. I don't want an almost died. I don't want anything like that. So unless you believe, you're able to cannot see with your eyes what's happening with Dodi Shalach Yadom Achar. You don't see Hashem sending His hand through that hole in our heart. You see it here in this family, in this amazing place. You see that Hashem is sending His hand. And there are so many Jews that are reaching out for it. These Chavra, what are they reaching out for? They're reaching out, they feel that Hashem is reaching out to them through that hole. And they don't know what to do, they just want to grab onto His hand. And once they realize that, like it says, we've spoken about over the years, especially by Tisha B'Av, the Mistarim Tivka Nafshi, that Hashem says, I'm also crying. The Mistarim Tivka Nafshi. So the Gemara, everybody knows the Gemara Chagiga asks, what does that mean that Hashem is crying? It says by Hashem, what? Oz v'chedva b'mkom. Hashem, everything is happy. Oz v'chedva b'mkom. Hashem, everything is happy. So what does it mean by Mistarim Tivka Nafshi? So really there's Rashi, Rabbeinu Hanan. But the Gemara's answer is that there's Bate Baroi and there's Bate Gavoi. There's the outside and there's the inside. The same way with the Jew. That there are people who are able to continue on with their lives, not just to continue, but to give and give more, to give life to other Jews who are dying. The Gemara says that on the outside there are these Jews and they're happy and they're sitting together and they're jumping around and laughing. But inside, the Mistarim Tivka Nafshi, that Hashem has a hidden place where He goes to cry. He goes to cry like the Rebbe Pizetzna said with these Jews. But they don't know and they're afraid to keep on crying on the outside or else they're going to die. So they have to go to a hidden place and cry. And Hashem goes with them to that hidden place and He cries. But the question is still a question. The question is, and the tzaddikim, the mukabalim, and the Rebbes couldn't accept that Hashem, at the end of the story is that Hashem is crying. Can't be such a thing. So I once heard from an Airleys, and I've shared over the years, that the Chazon Ish, so you've all heard this from me, I think, the Chazon Ish, at the end of his life, the last few years, he was spending most of his time giving chizuk to people, talking to Brachna Yidden. That's what he was doing most of the time. Even though his mind was greater than ever before, but he had such a soft heart. And he was talking all day long to people. This one with this tzar, this one with that tzar. So finally, it's a whole day where he was listening to tzaras. Terrible, terrible tzaras. And it finally came time that Chazon Ish was talking to this family, and then the Gabbai closed the door and locked the door. Must speak. It was enough for that night, that day. Then the Chazon Ish opened his Gemara. He just started learning. And the Gabbai was somewhat taken aback by that. Kilo, the worst story was the last one, and Kilo didn't reach the tzaddik's heart. He just opens up the Gemara and he starts to learn. How could be such a thing? So the Chazon Ish said, he said to his Gabbai, I know what you're thinking. I want to tell you something. Every story that I heard today, it reached a very, very deep part of who I am. It reached a very, very deep part of me. And in order for me to survive, I have to find something even deeper than that. And that's where I'm going to right now. Something even deeper than that. So these survivors are looking for something even deeper than that. In other words, Hashem has a place where he cries with these Jews. But then Hashem's inviting them to another place to go with him, to a deeper place. That's what we're watching happening right now. This place is a deeper place. I'm not speaking for my friends here. This is what Kach Nireh Li. This is a place that's deeper. It's deeper. Because a Jew has such a place. It's deeper. And when you go to that place, then you know something. I believe that's where my parents went. When you go to that place, then somehow you see that you see that Hashem is reaching out from that black hole. That he's reaching out. Our responsibility, our achrayus of those who have not Chalila experienced such things, our achrayus is to be a little bit like clowns ourselves, and to try the simplest way to remind all of these chaverim that we haven't forgotten them. We don't forget their pain for a moment. We don't know what words to say. We don't know what to say. But just the fact that we're here. Remember during COVID there was a funeral that I went to, and there were all kinds of rules about going in, and I couldn't go in. It was an old cemetery. Maybe Jay, I think we went together to that. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, you remember? So the Levi, so we couldn't go into the cemetery. There was no, whatever, we couldn't go into the cemetery. And I just saw him from a distance, the oval from over there, and I just threw him a kiss. And I'm not a person that's afraid to talk. I talk a lot. That's what I do most of the time. I talk too much. I'm doing that right now also. and I just threw him a kiss. And I felt very bad that we couldn't get in. I couldn't give him a hug or to talk to him a little bit and try to come up with some little story or something to give him some chizuk. But then afterwards, for a long time, he kept on saying to me, "You have no idea how much chizuk they gave me." I said, "But I didn't even get within 100 feet." He said, "But you came. You got there." So we want to tell you, he got it. Kod Yagi Hazman. Because Baruch was not going to just put his hand. He's going to put his whole arm, his whole self. And then it's going to have a happy ending. Kamti ani leftoach lodi chamak, v'lo yador, lodi yichabek otam, v'lo yador meitam, lo olam. You should be zach to see that day. Amen.